Hello, hello, hello. Could I get a confirmation from the mods that you can see and hear me? Second. Marvellous, marvellous, marvellous. We've had one in between streams Kofi from Sunday for Disco Elysium. And for Disco Elysium, indeed it is. This is our third one, and to re-establish, Disco Elysium is a very confrontational game, as we've discovered in that, like, it front loads a lot of the stuff with, like, one of the first characters you meet being Kunno, who is just a very, like, he's a lot. He's a lot. And we will be revisiting Kunno periodically. But this one I don't think is going to have quite so much of the like content warning stuff, though we might meet Measurehead. Who knows? But do familiarize yourselves with the content warnings for this game if you're worried about it, because, as I say, there's a lot going on. But yes, and I'll be continuing to do my little voices for Harry. So let us continue. Of course, you'll notice that there are quite a lot of saves that are not this save, because I have, of course, been playing through the game in my personal time as well for research, to establish, what paths I want to do, what order I want to do stuff. Obviously, not because I started playing it for the stream and became compelled. That's obviously not what happened. Obviously. But here we are. We have just gotten the case file from the bin and are currently going through it. We also got this... okay, yeah. Alright, maybe the content warnings will come up earlier than I anticipated, because we did also get this mug from the trash. This broken-eared mug somehow made its way into the Whirling in Rags dumpster. It depicts a person of Samaran descent frolicking in a field of saffron flowers, buck-toothed and grinning feeble-mindedly. It seems to be a cheap knockoff of some colonial-era antique.
It's just a racist mug. What's there to read here? Not much.
There's actually quite a lot to read into here, actually. Look at all that content.
Oh boy, here we go. What are you going to say about a broken, tossed-away mug that you dug out of the garbage?
This mug is an example of prejudice. I'm going to use it as an example of what not to do.
But it was in the trash. Why not just call it out when you see it? Or do some volunteering work? Just finish your case, detective.
Alright, back to the damaged ledger then.
It's the ledger you found in the trash. A cabbage of papers hanging from the board, with the permeables drawer inside. It's barely held together by a clip, then made complete by the faint smell of urinal cleaner.
Browse the yellow pages.
In the back, you see thin, translucent copier paper. Some neon yellow, some bright red, all covered in boxes, like marching armies. These look like official forms, waiting to be filled out. Then rip them from the binder and hand them out, according to type of form.
What type of forms are there?
3. The topmost are misconduct fines, the middle ones are station calls, and the bottommost are field autopsy forms. Each is easy enough to make sense of. You don't have to be an intellectual giant to do police work.
Misconduct fine.
A monetary penalization ranging from 20 to 250 real. Severe cases allow for 1,000 real, but that requires special paperwork. The details of issuing these fines are spread out over the rest of the fields.
Station call.
These are quite sinister in tone. They give a date and time for the person to appear at the specified precinct police station. Below the call are the criminal charges you risk by not appearing. All in a print so small it could be considered downright cute.
Field autopsy.
A dozen pages of thin copy paper, bright red in color. You see the parameters of a deceased human form waiting to be filled in. Age, sex, condition of internal organs.
Enough of these.
Yes, all that remains now is to fill those forms and hand them to people. Fines for wrongdoers, interview requests for bad guys, and field autopsies to dead guys. The rest of the stinking cellulose is much worse for wear. Being sandwiched between the board and the rest of the paperwork must have spared the fragile copier paper.
Look at the clipboard.
It's made of dark blue plastic, hard enough to beat someone to submission with. The edges are rounded, however. The U4 size board feels thick and heavy in your hand. Light shimmers on its wet surface. On the back you see the embossed letters, RCM.
What did you say the colour was?
Blue. The blue heart. Don't look into it.
Shake the ledger.
Something rattles inside, ever so lightly. Is there a hidden compartment? And something small inside? Light, made of paper or cardboard? Or dried flowers, perhaps?
Peek inside.
The plastic shimmers like lapis lazuli, but it is not see-through. You cannot see to its center.
How would I open it?
With your hands, U4-sized pages hang from the clip screwed to the top of the board.
Open the hidden compartment in the clipboard.
The two sides of the board appear slightly misaligned, like a drawer that's come off its slides. If you bend the plastic on your knee slowly, the slides snap back into place. It should be possible to just,
Wait. Somehow, I don't want to.
What are you waiting for? Just. That's because you know where this leads to.
That doesn't sound like it's gonna be fun!
Slide the drawer open.
Without resistance or sound, the two panels move against each other. The compartment is now open.
What's inside?
2 ticket stubs and a handmade postcard.
Pick up the ticket stubs.
2 octopuses are smiling, reaching their tentacles toward each other in the colored pencil drawings. The tickets permit access to the zoo in Revachol East. The aquarium costs extra. These let you go there, too.
Fucking kill yourself, you asshole.
The words just crossed your mind somehow.
Who were they for?
Who do you think?
Pick up the card.
Thin wax paper has been glued to a piece of cardboard. Sounds like leaves rustling when you pick it up. You see violet flowers, floral patterns, patches of glue.
Smell it first.
It smells of chewing gum, apricot flavored. A touch of cinnamon, the end of summer. You think the label says tutti frutti.
Open it.
Familiar handwriting lines the inside of the card, looped, round letters in a woman's hand. A young woman in her 20s. There is care, effort, and a smile, you think. Although that is not something you can read from someone's handwriting. Harry, it begins. You're already reading. I wanted to write you a letter so you can read it when you wake up. Maybe it will make you happy. Throw it away, please.
It will make me happy.
A merciful wind blows in from the bay of Revachol, dusting the ground at your feet and raising newspapers far away. You feel the card slipping into it.
What was that?
Frisson covers your entire body, a feeling of cold, a persistent chill.
Hold on to it. Read the card.
Your hands shake, holding onto it. Every morning when I step out and you're asleep behind me, it says, I find a little piece of sadness in me. I carry it in my chest, down Voyager Road. Every step I take, it grows. By the time I reach the fuel station, it has filled me entirely. I step onto the light rail and look back. Sparks fall from the bow collector. I know it will be like this until late afternoon, when I get off the 42 and walk back to you.
Keep reading.
You. Every step I take will get lighter. It almost makes me run. Sometimes I do. I can't believe I met you. I can't believe the happiness I feel with you. You have a vast, vast soul, and I will always, always, always come back to it.
Keep reading.
Kisses, kisses, kisses. You feel the air sucked out of your lungs and the blood sucked out of your head. Everything around you gets dark. Small white dots appear. You feel the ledger slip from your hand. No, hold on.
Fall sideways. And that's Disco Elysium, everyone. Thank you for joining me for this stream. It's a shame, I think, that the detective died quite so early, but, you know, it is what it is.
There is nothing. Again.
Nothing?
Nothing sad, brother. No treachery, just blackout.
Just lie there, passed out.
Well, almost nothing. There is the ground below you, that's still there. And the small light that's on, fluttering, somewhere in the basal ganglia.
Who's that?
That's me. Blue eyes, that's me.
And who was that?
Who was what?
He speaks of the sickening longing, the unwell emotion. Even in the darkness, he's grasping for it. Still trying to hold on to the great sorrows slipping in the water. Slimy.
No, I was cool. I'm cool.
The cool when you're dead, brother.
Here in the paleo-mammalian cortex, we call it the shadow. Because it's always there.
Tell him.
Ah, yes. In the olfactory system, they call it the apricot chewing gum scented one. It's unhealthy of them to linger on it so. But as they say, what do you do?
Smelled so nice.
It didn't smell nice. It smelled like betrayal.
Was that the X something? The
Bloated corpse of the past resurfacing.
yes, that.
Don't prod at it. It will start moving again.
Where is Voyager Road?
There is no Voyager Road. There are no roads, no houses, no lights in the windows. It's all on pause.
Enough. Just lie there, motionless.
You think they would let you? Until you disintegrate into biomolecules? No. Someone is breathing on your face now, inspecting your pupils, stupid idiot.
What is that? It's cold.
Yes, they're pouring something on you. It's in you. And
It's delicious. Glowing lights on a dashboard emerge out of nothingness.
Where am I?
In the upholstered cabin of Lieutenant Kitsuragi's motor carriage, seated in the driver's basket. The air is thick with leatherworks and heavy fuel oil. Cold water runs down your chin.
Drink. Water.
Drink.
The water is cold, silvery, the stuff of life itself as it pours down your parched throat. The pounding in your head recedes. The darkness parts.
Drink. You haven't drunk water in 2 days. Did you know the human body is not made to survive on alcohol alone? You need a secondary form of hydration.
Drink.
With greedy gulps, you down half a liter of cold water. Some of it spills on the driver's seat. The lieutenant pays no heed to it.
What happened?
I should ask you the same.
You were reading your paperwork. Then you passed out. I carried you to my Kineema to take you to a hospital. Then you came to.
How long was I out?
10 minutes, maybe.
I came in contact with the burnt-out ruins of the past, Lieutenant.
That does sometimes happen. You dropped these. Are you okay to proceed?
Let's solve this case.
Good.
The ledger of failure and hatred.
This is the same ledger you found in the trash, only worse, somehow. Makes you think about the letter, about the woman's handwriting, about not wanting to get out of bed in the morning. There are bottles inside. You could pick them up if you had a bag. This book has a rose, a pistol, and a half-naked dame on its cover. On the cover stands a very muscular man surrounded by flames. This is a book about pate. This book, you don't really understand what it is about, nor does it seem important. A book about Boadiero culture. It promotes freedom and roaming upstream. A book about the future. The government reads your mind using radio technology.
Hello, sir. Step right in. The store is open.
I am the law.
I know, sir. Are you interested in a new and exciting book?
What kind of store is this, anyway?
It's a bookstore, sir. We sell books, postcards, and some board games. It's called Crime, Romance, and Biographies of Famous People.
Whoa, 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 whoa. Hold your horses, little girl.
What is a book?
That is a book. They have stories inside them. It's like someone told you a story in a really long letter.
What is a postcard?
A postcard is a small cardboard picture. You can write a few words on the other side and send it to your friend or beloved.
She is unfazed by your questions. She would consider it impolite to point out any perceived weirdness.
What's a board game?
Board games are like little games on a table, made to pass the time. There are several different ones, but sailors here mostly buy cards.
Interesting. Thanks.
My pleasure. Anything else you'd like to know?
Is it okay if I ask you some questions?
Okay, sir. I'll try to answer any questions you have. I hope they're about books.
What is your name?
My name is Annette, sir. My mum, her name is Plaisance. She owns the store. She's inside minding the register or organising the stock. Feel free to step in and browse our wares.
And you're standing out here in the cold because...
I'm signalling that the store is open. Otherwise people might not know. They'd miss out on the crime, romance and biographies of famous people.
A sudden gush of wind turns the pages of the books on the counters. She covers her face, smiling, but she's cold.
You're cold. Can I help in some way?
Kind of you to offer, sir.
What could you do to help her anyway?
I could help by brutally dismantling the free market.
Thank you, sir. I'm glad to help Mum out with the store.
Shouldn't you be at school or something?
I do my studies at home at the moment. I have to help Mum keep this place running.
Isn't... What is school, anyway?
School? Well, mine is a big yellow building on Boogie Street, and the people there run it. They say it's a charity.
Isn't going to school more important than this?
Mum says it's necessary to do both, because it builds character. Mum says a proper worker is dutiful. That's how you get ahead in life. You succeed.
There is stress and unease behind these words. She's reciting etiquette.
How's the business going?
Mum says it's peachy. She was a little afraid at first. There's talk about this house being cursed.
Behind her, the window has been boarded up. You sense the boards creaking, twisting for a second, and some kind of doubt in her tense shoulders.
Cursed? In what way?
Cursed in the way that makes them say that no business has ever really thrived here, sir. That they all go...
Ass up.
I wouldn't really say it like that, but I guess so.
It sounds rather serious. I should probably look into this.
We can go into the bookstore and ask about the case, but I don't see much more to look into here.
Yes, please do look at our wares inside. The postcards and board games you asked about are also there, sir.
What do you know about the other failed businesses?
Nothing really, sir. Mum doesn't allow me to sneak around in the back rooms or the cellar. I don't really know what's there.
How does this curse manifest itself?
It does not manifest itself in any way. It does not exist. I liked it better when we were talking about whether it's appropriate to stand out in the freezing weather.
But Kim, the plasmic manifestations.
No such thing.
Anything else you wanted to talk about, sir?
Enough about the curse. For now.
Maybe I can tell you about some of our books instead.
What is this crime business?
Crime fiction is about murders or burglaries or things like that, and the work of a policeman or a private detective who's trying to solve a crime and catch the criminals.
Wait, not crime fiction. I need to know what crime is.
Crime is...
It's exciting to people, I guess. They get to imagine dangerous things, and it's kind of like a puzzle, where you can guess who the criminal is, or how the good guys are going to catch him.
I'm a policeman myself, by the way. The law, as I said.
You don't look much like a policeman.
Huh. Well, what does a cop look like then?
Didn't mean to offend, sir. Sorry, sir. It's just that you don't look like Dick Mullen.
You know, nobody actually looks like the guy in the picture. That's just a stupid fantasy of a man.
She looks at Dick Mullen, frowning. Dark, arrogant, violent, likely overcompensating for something. He isn't even drawn right.
He isn't even drawn right. This is not how human shoulders work. The perspective is all wrong.
She examines the picture, trying to find whatever is wrong with it. She then shrugs and puts the book aside, unconvinced.
That's just no way to cop. I can do it way better than Dick Mullen.
Sure you can, sir. He's just a fictional character. He'll be no match for you. Maybe you can show me some real police work, sir. Like in the books.
What is romance?
It's the type of book where there's a rich lady and she has to choose between the good man and the bad man. Or there could be a story about a poor lady getting a rich man. It's about man and lady business, sir.
What about a poor man getting a rich lady?
It happens, but usually the guy gets rich in the process, or should actually be rich himself, but has lost his family property unjustly, like during the revolution or something.
I see.
Those are unhappy books, for most of the pages. People sad about what they have lost, but then it all turns out just fine in the end.
What about when both of the men are bad?
These are not very common. You can't have a choice between bad and bad. Nobody wants to read a story like that.
What if it's written really well?
Well, maybe then it's fine. Maybe if the lady then decides not to pick either, because she doesn't need a bad man. Yes, that would be interesting.
What about when everyone is poor?
That's really not a proper romance story. That's more like everyday life.
Sometimes you have to write about real life things.
Not in romance books, sir. These are about nice and pretty people, and everyone is happy in the end.
What about a book where the man and lady business doesn't work out at all?
I haven't read many of those. Maybe you should ask Mum.
Yeah, you think she has one about an excruciatingly painful breakup?
I don't think it's a romance story if the main characters break up, though.
No, think about it. One where they plunge into a torrid spiral of pain and recrimination, only it's really long and drawn out, scarred for life, phantom limb.
No, I don't know.
Doesn't ring a bell? Alright, I'll ask your mum.
Yes, she knows books, definitely.
What was that? An idea for an unfinished novel stuck somewhere in your forebrain?
That's enough romance for me. I had other questions.
Maybe some about other books?
Who are these famous people?
Oh, kings and queens and generals of old, or artists and writers, or musicians, those kinds of people. There's usually something extraordinary about them. I think that's why people read them, to find the secrets of their fame.
Seems like most people who read those books fail to get more famous from reading them.
Reading those doesn't make the readers more famous, does it?
But it does make the famous people more famous.
These famous people sound like a bunch of dorks.
Annette's expression remains ever so helpful, but she doesn't say anything.
Never mind. I literally had nothing else to say.
Okay.
Okay. I'm going to deduce something now.
The girl keeps her hands folded, hidden. Why is that?
Hey. Why do you keep your hands folded?
What do you mean, sir?
She knows where this is going.
You don't need to be worried. I'm here to help.
She looks around anxiously. Her hands remain folded in front of her. She doesn't want to show them. The lieutenant stands by, looking at the two of you with little interest. A facade of true professionalism. He is far more intrigued by the situation than his poise reveals.
It's okay.
She brings out her reddened hands, her nails frayed, nearly chewed down to the flesh.
You bite your nails.
And you knew this from me keeping my hands folded?
There were a few other hints.
Well, that proves nothing. Anyone could do an easy deduction like that.
Want more? Bet I can figure out why you bite your nails. I've got a few reasons in mind.
She nods, half provocative, half enthusiastic.
You're uptight because of your mother and the pressure she's putting on you.
Maybe so, sir. Okay, I know it's a bad habit, and I shouldn't.
Either way, another ace deduction by the #1 detective in town.
It was okay, sir.
There's more that can be achieved here. Ask her to do the same.
You think so? Fine. Do better. Deduce something about me.
You're quite sober.
The lieutenant does not flinch at the comment. He does not flinch even a single bit. He is intensely not flinching. It takes effort.
I am also sad, and my head hurts.
I'm sorry, sir. I hope things get better soon.
There she stands, swaying on her feet, assaulted by the early spring breeze. She smiles at you. The whole situation suddenly feels familiar, somehow.
What are you missing here? Why does this feel familiar?
Because you know each other. She's been talking to you so openly because you've talked before.
Hang on. So you know me? We've met before?
Yes, I stand in this spot all the time. You've been running around all week without your shirt on, sir, apologising to everyone. I don't really understand what you've done wrong.
Did I ever talk to you?
Of course, you've stopped by a few times. You certainly look better than the last time I saw you.
What do you mean better? I look like shit.
Yeah, but you don't have party eyes anymore.
Party eyes. Yes, of course. That makes sense.
I'm not surprised children have seen you running around with party eyes on, he thinks. Not at all.
Party eyes?
You know, like a cat in the dark, all big and wide-eyed. It certainly looks odd on a man.
The swiveling eyes of a loony drug addict. That is what she meant. You were probably gurning too. Fuck yeah. You should get some party eyes right now. Snap those sequins on you, boy.
Does that mean I've been partaking in narcotics?
Oh, baby, that's not what you have to worry about. Worry about the important thing.
So, why didn't you tell me you knew me to begin with?
I didn't know I had to do that.
Thanks, I've learned something about myself today.
I'm glad I could help you, sir.
Okay, bye. See you around, Annette.
Welcome to Crime, Romance and Biographies of Famous People. My name is Plaisance. Be welcome, and please take responsibility for the energy you bring into this space.
A golden pendant hangs around the woman's neck, in the shape of what looks like a tiny fish head trapped in amber.
So, are you the owner of this store?
I am the proudest owner of our little shop of culture.
Your daughter is the one standing outside the store, right?
Annette, yes, my daughter. I hope she wasn't slacking off again with her nose in science fiction. Tell me, was she at her post doing her job like a proper girl?
Yes, of course.
Wonderful. Did you talk to her?
Yes.
Great. On a scale of 1 to 10, how compelled were you to buy books after talking with her?
Her opinion of her daughter depends on how well she lured you into the store.
10. She's certainly very polite and helpful.
My precious, her dedication brings joy to my heart. If you have children, I hope they turn out as great as my Annette.
All this pressure has made her really anxious. You know she's been chewing her nails.
God, I've told her not to do that. It's such a disgusting habit. She'll get over it. Anxiety is a part of life.
A part of hers too, clearly.
I don't think she can do anything about it.
She can, if she has enough willpower. This is what's called growing pains. Life isn't easy. Life doesn't give breaks.
Come on, ma'am. It's obvious she can't do anything about it. You are placing an unnecessary burden on a young child.
What you're doing is wrong. Even I know that, and I usually don't know anything.
She stands stiff and severe, silently fuming. 10 or so seconds pass without change.
Oh no. Hold on. I need to invite her inside and apologise. She must be freezing out there. There. I don't know what to say to you. My husband, he tries to teach me business lessons. I have what my mother called a dull mind. All this stress.
It sounds like both the husband and the mother treat her the way she treats Annette.
You're like Annette to your husband. And your mother.
Oh, well, my mother was horrible, of course. Absolutely perverse energies around that person. But my husband...
My husband is completely different, of course.
She told me she doesn't go to school anymore.
She's been too busy helping me here. So she studied at home this trimester. This is a temporary solution, of course. I assure you, I of all people understand the importance of education. She will be back in school the moment the store takes off.
All right, I had something else in mind.
The woman looks aloof, her features much softer. Occasionally she glances at her daughter's silhouette.
Farewell for now, book peddler.
I'm sorry, sir. I can't talk right now. I'm very busy with my homework. I have so much homework now.
You just can't win. Out of the rain and into the gutter.
What are you doing now?
Math. It's really difficult. Like, really. They say you need it to get rich. Better than standing outside in the cold, I guess. Oh, I found something while you were away.
What is it?
I thought this would fit you. Like, thanks for helping out. Not me. The city, I mean. Like a detective does.
A detective hat?
Yes, just like the one Dick Mullen wears all the time. You'll look way more serious with that. Right, I have to get back to my homework now, before Mum notices. Man, this is hard.
Okay, bye. See you around, Annette. If anything, this wide-rimmed hat looks even better than the hat Dick Mullen wears. Dick Mullen is stupid. Not even real. You're real. Your brain is real. Your real brain is inside the hat. Nice. We'll investigate the bookstore more later. To Roundabout North. Capeside Apartments, Martinez Pier. The ad reads, broken window? Tibbs has windows. If you had a bag in your hand, perhaps you could collect these bottles and sell them. A lonely cormorant surveys the sea, indifferent to your approach. The belly of this boat shines like it was recently painted. Rue de Saint-Ghislain to Roundabout North. Capeside Apartments. There's a girl up there. Did she spill the paint?
The streets will flow red once more. A great torrent rushing down Rue de Espérance. You wait and see.
The streets will not flow red with anything. Who are you?
I'm Cindy the fucking Skull. What else do you want to know? Date of birth, blood type, the last time I was tested for Hep C.
Let's start with your blood type and go from there.
Go where? Accosting a minor?
Listen to your partner, pig man. Keep your grubby hooves off little old ladies.
What are you doing to the wall?
Can't you tell? I'm painting a beautiful mural, an aereo graffitio visible from low orbit. I haven't really started it yet. I'm waiting for the right words.
So you don't know what to write?
Have you ever tried your hand at graffitio? When faced with a blank wall, most people write unimaginative stuff, like pigs go home and Mona was here. We rarely see pigs round here, though. Just union cads. And my name's not Mona, so...
She wants it to be something true and total.
Why are you so committed to defacing the building?
This place is severely lacking in havoc. Not even the occasional trash can fire to break up the tedium. I thought I'd mix it up, you know, summon the forces of crime and social chaos with a wall-sized invitation.
I have an opinion on this. Want to hear it?
Yeah?
I love public art. Don't mind us, just keep doing what you're doing.
Thanks. I'm sure the inspiration will come to me now that I have an official RCM stamp of approval.
You've lessened her desire to deface the building.
Do you know anything about the recent murder?
I ain't no snitch, pigstein. Go forth and forage in someone else's shit. No shortage of squealers in these parts.
Actually, there is a shortage of people who talk to us in a normal, calm, informative manner.
We weren't put on this earth to make your life pleasant, fucko.
You keep looking off to the side. What are you looking for? What are you looking at?
The lieutenant furrows his brow at another one of your eccentricisms. Hatred, disgust, it's difficult to tell which of the two is more present in her girlish features. The woman on the boat does not notice her staring.
That is on her. Someone's got to keep an eye on her.
Ozon is an archipelago 2 days' travel away from Rivershore. Its moneyed residents, used to posh restaurants and upscale boutiques, rarely have reason to visit Martinez.
Who is she?
Probably the Wild Pines rep. We should talk to her. She's a professional negotiator, though. I have the feeling she will be very cooperative while telling us nothing. You should take the lead. Ask her unexpected questions, you know? Do your thing. Don't be afraid to get a bit wacky. Throwing her off is our best bet.
Good idea, piggies. Run along now. Fuck her shit up good. Impound that boat while you're at it. I'd like to watch her swim back to Ozon.
Catch you later, Cindy.
Watch your back, Ungulate. You've got eyes on you.
Aces high. For the rest of the world, the Aces High is just a cool Revachol thing, politically neutral. In Revachol, it still holds revolutionary connotations. Also, have you looked at Lieutenant Kitsuragi's clothes? He wears a bomber jacket, just like the ones worn by aerostatic brigades, and those cargo pants could store tools for hotfixing your aerostatic. Maybe you should ask him about this.
Yes?
Want to talk about you.
What about me?
Kim, you're wearing a revolutionary air brigade jacket. aren't you?
What? These? It's just seasonal clothing.
And those look like airman pants. Good for storing tools in.
Where is this going?
You see, Kim, I have this place in my head where I develop new ideas and connections.
Interesting. I think it's called the brain.
It's no mere brain.
No, normal people don't have this. It's like a mind laboratory, a spiritual R&D division. No, palette. No, better yet, a painter's atelier of concepts.
Okay, art cup.
Okay, indeed. And in this atelier, I've realized that you harbour some kind of sentiment towards the Revolutionary Air Brigades.
I do not harbor a sentiment for revolutionary air brigades in particular.
Just air brigades, then?
Okay, I wanted to become an aerostatic pilot. Then I turned 10 and realized we no longer have an air force.
Are you sure the revolutionary has got nothing to do with this?
Absolutely nothing.
Thank you. My mind is satisfied.
Good,
That's all for now.
good. Let's change the subject.
Nothing.
Why does art inspire you so much?
It does, yes, but what is art?
Excellent question. Art is a diverse range of visual, literary, auditory, and performative creativity. It's an expression of imagination and technical skill. Additionally, it's history, criticism, and pure enjoyment. In short, art is the highest form of human communication, representation, narrative, emotion, and agency intertwined.
Would I fit into the art world? I mean,
Have you looked in the mirror lately? You have the exact features of a savage art critic, with that beard and those clothes, disheveled and prophetic. Perhaps you should try to critique architecture too.
hold on. Is architecture also art?
Of course not. It's autism, box drawing, masturbation with a ruler and a sextant or whatever they use. You should demean and criticize the genteel institution of architecture while extolling the virtues of the pure arts.
Wait, what about music? Is it art?
Only the most experimental kind.
I guess I have been feeling critical lately.
Yes, you seek substance. No vapid representations and reproductions of social mores as made manifest in stuffy biennials. We're talking real living art here. Become the art cop. Half art critic, half cop.
Wait, but don't I have to be 100% cop to get the case finished and all that?
Quit being so indecisive. What are you going for here? Some kind of indecisive and camp aesthetic now? Strike a bold shape here. Go art or go home.
Okay. If 50% art critic is what's needed to free me from rote repetition, so be it.
Exactly. It's not only your duty to only catch the criminals off the street, you must also apprehend criminals of the printing press and the gallery, the trite and derivative artists and writers of the world. Go ahead and provide savage criticisms, art cop. The world is yours to rip to pieces and reassemble.
Yeah, it's another copper type. The worst one. The most savage and brutal. The art cop. Nothing is good enough for him. Everything is shit. You have to employ an armada of adjectives to depict and demean the mediocrity of the works and visual institutions around you. Really flex that critical muscle until the vocabulary for punishing mediocrity becomes second nature. Here we go. Inside, the frame of a motorcycle in repair and the tools used to disassemble it. Hang on. Blue signal coat. Lovely. Perhaps I shall wear it. Oh, no. Kim's trapped in my legs. Looks like there was more construction here once, decades ago. Magnesium. Docking reserved for residents of Rue de Saint-Ghislain Lane, 33A. Your room in the whirling isn't much bigger than this sloop. This is worth more than you'll ever earn in all your life. Shadows on the water. Green plants under the calm surface. Right, I'm going to take a little break to read some Kofi's before we get into it with Joyce, because there's a lot to get into with Joyce. Kofi from Akuma. Happy Friday. I'm staying in London for school this summer, and I'd like to know what some of your favourite things to do are. I want to do some fun stuff, but I don't feel I'm one for tacky tourism traps. Any ideas? Don't worry, I'll visit the National Gallery's horse painting. Yes, see the big horse. Honestly, a lot of the museums in London are worth going to, even the ones that even the ones that on the surface are a bit more touristy. Things like the your National Gallery, the National Portrait Gallery, I've gone completely blank on the name of it. But all the the Natural History Museum, these sort of all the big galleries are actually, they're a little bit touristy, but they've also got some really good stuff in, and are really good. I mean, same with the Tate Modern. It is a bit touristy, but I actually really rate the Globe Theatre. If you get one of the £5 groundling tickets, the shows aren't 100% hits, but they're a good 80%, especially if you go to whatever the RSC is putting on. They're also, because they tend to do afternoon performances, it's very easy to sort of fold into a day out in London. I always had a really good time whenever I used to go watch stuff at the Globe as a groundling, one of the standing tickets. What else did I used to do a lot in London? Trouble is, the living there, you tend not to do a lot of the actual event, the actual sort of stuff that is stuff to go to. It tends to be, oh well, this event is good. Well, this event happened 3 years ago, Johnny, and you had a good time there, but it's not a tourist. It's not a location to be visited. There's a lot of decent nerd shops around Soho in the West End that are worth a look in. My old haunts always used to be Orc's Nest, Gosh Comics. The big Forbidden Planet is worth it. Yeah, that whole area is pretty good. Yeah, that's the stuff that immediately springs to mind. Most of the other stuff is more specific to I don't know, living there or specific events. But I hope you have a great time. And don't just take other people's recommendations. Have an explore. Like, find your own little corners. There's a lot of London, and there's a lot lurking down all of it. Kofi from Freya Moonlight. Hi Johnny, exams are almost over. I'm exhausted, but cross-stitching to your stream is very relaxing. So have a Kofi. Thank you. Congratulations on almost being finished with your exams. It's gonna feel so good when they're over. Red Dead Zombie. Hi Johnny, good news. Got an interview for a permanent position at work. As I'm a new listener, I only found out about the mechanisms recently and was surprised to learn you used to play at the Bullingdon Arms, 2 minutes from where I lived off Crowley Road, 2013 to 2017. Sad I missed you. Ah, that's cool. I think when would our last gig at the Bullingdon have been? Probably 2012. I don't know, we did a few gigs there. Like, the Bullingdon was there were a handful of sort of pubs, or generally like upstairs at pubs, that we played not regularly but a few times over our time. So there was the Bullingdon, there was the Dog Star, the Port Mahon. Yeah, I think those were the three that we hit multiple times. But yeah, it's the Bullingdon's. It's a decent pub. Well, it used to be. I haven't been there in years, obviously, but I remember. I have very fond memories of it. Kofi from Red Dead Zombie. Hi, Johnny. Oh no, sorry, that's literally the one I just read. Anyway, glad you're enjoying the music. Kofi from Harem. Hi, Johnny. Hearing you go, what's a board game is the most thing of all time. No words are missing in my sentence. It is the most. Like, I really enjoyed saying that line. I was like, this is an enjoyable thing for me to say. Kofi from Ronnie. Hi Johnny, happy Friday. Grateful to have the stream to keep me company today, as I'm currently laid up with a foot injury. Who knew your tendons can just give up, I guess. At least I've got a cool CD with my bones on it now. Ah! Cool! I wish I had a CD with bones on. Sorry to hear about your tendons, though. That sucks. And yeah, there is no part of your body that cannot just decide to stop. And that kind of sucks. Right. Let's get into this with Joyce.
A striking woman leans against the cabin top of her sailing boat, smiling as you approach. Her green raincoat glistens with droplets. A silk scarf is tied around her throat.
Good afternoon, officers. I'm Joyce. Joyce L. Messier. I represent the board of Wild Pines, the owners of the harbour. You gentlemen must be from the RCM.
Joyce L. What does the L stand for?
Dayton, my maiden name.
What exactly is the RCM? I remember hearing it from somewhere.
I meant you, the Revachol Citizens Militia, the police.
What gave us away?
Nothing, honestly. I've said it to every drunk in town, and you're the first one who's responded.
Relax. She meant it in jest.
Shake her hand.
I'm glad to see you here.
Like steel, there is strength there. If she wanted, she could sink her nails deep into your skin.
I was dispatched to handle a strike, not a lynching. Anything I can do to assist the RCM in this matter, I will, gladly.
That is good to hear, madame. My colleague will take the lead on this interview. I should let you know that he is recovering from an unusual medical episode. Very unusual. But I can assure you of his ultimate competency.
How interesting. I wish you a swift recovery. In the meanwhile, you have my full cooperation, and the full cooperation of the Wild Pines group.
It's hard to get a read on her precise disposition, but she appears helpful.
You're on a boat.
Why, yes I am.
Not a lot of people on boats, are there?
Of course there are. We're on an archipelago. How else are you supposed to get around?
There is a pinch of defensiveness in her voice, but it is playful.
What do you mean, archipelago?
I mean, we are on Le Caillou, are we not?
Caillou. I thought we were in Revachol.
We are, and the city of Revachol is on the island of Le Caillou.
Still, I haven't seen anyone else sail a boat around here.
I haven't seen anyone else drive a souped-up Capri Kineema motor carriage either.
Actually, that motor carriage has been specially issued to serve as a patrol and pursuit vehicle. It's for crossing long distances in the greater Revachol industrial harbor. It's not a toy.
Neither is this. A toy, I mean. It's a machine for crossing long distances in the Bay of Revachol, between the city and the islands.
Does she have a name?
The boat? No. It is called Cordelati 19 because that's the type of sloop it is.
The word "it" feels strange. Such a beautiful boat deserves a proper name.
Cool, but your boat really needs a name.
Okay. How about Cordelati 19? Why? Because it was manufactured in Revachol East by a company called Cordelati, and its hull is 19 paces long.
How about Dolores?
Why Dolores?
I just like the name for some reason.
Well, it means nothing to me. I think I'll stick with the factory name. But thank you for the suggestion.
Okay, but what kind of boat is it?
It's a pleasure craft, a 19-pacer. It also happens to be rated for Category 1 racing. Though these days I mainly use it for business.
How do you like it?
My sloop? I like it a lot. It's the eel's hips, baby.
I'm enjoying this part of the interview. It has so little to do with the murder we're investigating.
I really do, the lieutenant thinks. Is she thrown off yet? He's looking at the woman, assessing her.
Do you have a license for this boat?
Officer, I assure you I'm a highly qualified pleasure craft operator.
The crowns of her teeth are porcelain, white as the boat's hull as she smiles. Her nonchalance might be related to something called the Wayfarer Act, a law that says she doesn't need a license. Sly Fox, you're not aggressive enough to harass her further on this.
I think I have a handle on the boat thing.
Good.
Tell me about Wild Pines. What do you do?
What we do? I'm afraid I don't speak for Wild Pines as a whole. It's a giant undertaking.
So what do they do?
The Pines' core competency is logistics. Container shipping, freight, that sort of thing. See those airships there, blinking? Those are the shipping side of things. And that is the terminal. Another subdivision deals with energy, oil and gas exploration, offshore platforms.
The Wild Pines Group is one of the original Revacholian Indo-tribes, companies awarded royal monopolies by the king, the suzerain himself, centuries ago. The king is long gone, but several of the Indo-tribes remain.
Who were the other Indo-tribes?
Saint-Baptiste, Elysium, an unknown entity known as Brightest Star.
You're in good company, it seems.
Why, thank you.
How much money does Wild Pines have?
I'm not at liberty to discuss the company balance sheet, but I can tell you that last year, the company booked more than 20 billion real in revenue.
A billion?
What exactly is a billion?
It's a number, officer. A big one.
What is it made of?
It's made of 1,000 millions. A million is made of 1,000 thousands.
Wow.
20 billion is a large number, but the conglomerate employs 72,000 people. They all need to be paid. Then there are capital improvements, interest payments. A conglomerate the size of the wild pines is like a shark. If it stops moving, it will die. Then what becomes of those 72,000 families? It's a tremendous responsibility.
Where does Wild Pines get all these billions?
They started as an exploration and cargo fleet conducting trade between the Samaran and Insulindian Easterlers 250 years ago, when pine ships explored the South Seminese and charted Lormantang on behalf of the suzerain. Centuries of care, deliberation, and madness have gone into this endeavor. Vessels pass through the great unrest to re-emerge with apricots in tow. The logic of the system is totalizing. It's taken everything from its employees to build it.
It probably helps to start out with a royal monopoly.
You know more than you let on. Certainly it helped, but most of the original Indo tribes have failed or been absorbed. To survive, Wild Pines had to grow and adapt. No suzerain did that.
What does such a huge system want with a place like this?
You mean aside from being the terminal's legal owners, who are responsible for moving 8% of the world's cargo?
8% of all cargo in the world? That's quite the endeavour indeed.
There are no minor cogs in the system. Each terminal must be accounted for, lest the entire system break. Every hiccup in such a system means thousands lose their jobs, the world over. I'm here to assure that doesn't happen.
With your help, hopefully, says her warm tone.
What can you tell me about this strike?
Everything. Right up to, but not including, trade secrets.
Wait, what if I want to hear about trade secrets?
First, you'd have to repeal the Emergencies Act of Trade in Aliments that gives me the right to silence. It's quite the octopus.
How do I repeal it then?
Why? By throwing off half a century of foreign domination under the Coalition. Unfortunately for you, the Coalition also leases you the right to police West Revachol. But I am derailing us. You wanted to know about the strike.
What is your role in this, precisely?
I believe the official title is Senior Labour Negotiator. In practice, I'm a grocery clerk. I relay the union's demands to Wild Pines and return with Wild Pines' counteroffer.
And how are the talks going?
They're not. That's the problem. The union stopped all negotiations a week ago, after that awful lynching took place. Now they won't even let me into the harbour. There's a 2-meter 20 racist behemoth blocking the gates.
Tell me more about this behemoth.
What can I say? The union employs a giant covered in tattoos. A racist giant. I guess that's part of their big tent organisation now.
How were the talks going before the lynching?
Let's say I was not making the kind of progress I'd hoped for when I first arrived.
And when did you first arrive?
I arrived 3 weeks ago. Yes, in the middle of February. The bay was still partially frozen then. I prefer to do these things on site, like the RCM.
But the strike began in December.
I wasn't the original negotiator here. I took over after Mr. Gaumont hit a wall with Mr. Clare, the union boss. Mr. Clare refused to speak with Gaumont despite concessions he'd granted the union in prior negotiations.
This isn't the first time the union has gone on strike?
Heavens no. There have been 2 prior strikes. Both times the union won significant concessions, including overtime pay and a medical plan. This time their demands are more, I guess you could say, aggressive.
What happened to this Gaumont?
Mr. Clare told him to... how did he put it? Fuck off, midget. Gaumont is short of stature, you see.
Not cool.
Keep in mind, this is a negotiator Mr. Clare has worked with before, and who was more than fair with him and the union.
What are their demands?
There are leaflets everywhere, and banners. What did they say again? Oh yes.
Every worker, a member of the board.
I like it.
Then you might also like their other slogan. Demand democracy.
Oh, 1 second. My headphones just run out of battery. So I need to see if I can... a second. Need to see if I can plug them into the... and apologies for the recursive nightmare that's about to occur. So... actually, hold on. Right. Nope, that's not it. Okay. Let's try this again. Oh, yeah. That was a good one.
Personally, I don't think it has the same pizzazzo as every worker a member of the board.
Oh, I've got... What exactly do they mean by it, though? What's the demand?
It's quite simple, you see. Every time the Wild Pines group makes a decision about what, about anything really, it needs the signature of each of the 2,200 workers in its Martinez terminal. Just so you understand, this is but one of 22 terminals owned by Wild Pines. Essentially, not only are they kings of the company, they are also kings of the 72,000 employees of Wild Pines Group.
That's pretty funny, I have to admit.
They're having a blast. But how can they afford it? After 4 months, my assumption was they would prefer a more practical solution.
What are you going to do?
I'm not sure. Naturally, I assume that was just their opening position, a hard-nosed tactic with a side of mockery. But there's been no follow-up, just the same nonsensical slogan repeated over and over again. And now, people are getting lynched, I hear. Behind the whirling in rags. A disastrous situation if there ever was one.
Excuse me, from whom did you hear about this lynching?
I first heard it from the bowyer at the gates, the one whose very name advertises his aversion to work. I think he said it was, "Call me mañana."
This checks out.
Tell me about this union boss, Mr. Clare.
Everard Clare is a man of the utmost integrity. If you can say one thing about him, it's that he always puts the interests of the workers first.
Really?
Of course not. Everard is fantastically corrupt. I imagine he has a thick, viscous goo where you and I have blood.
If you were to prick him with something sharp, you could see it oozing out. A knife, maybe? No, a rapier.
You sound like you're about to take a rapier to him.
Oh, heavens, no. We get along just fine. Yet, now that you mention it, I can't stop imagining that black treacle just dribbling down his double chin.
He can't be that bad.
He is the most corrupt individual I have ever seen, and I deal with men like him for a living. If there is anyone more venal, more irredeemably nepotistic, then it's his twin brother, Edgar.
Wait, there are two of him?
Yes, Edgar looks exactly like his brother, except for that lazy eye. He also talks exactly like Everard does, and when one's term as foreman is up, the other takes over. It's how they circumvent the term limits, you see, with a funny little switcheroo. While in office, they've embezzled God knows how much of their workers' dues.
What about the union itself, outside the Brothers Clare?
The Débardeurs Union was once a perfectly normal institution. 20 years ago, anyway. It must not have been easy to establish under the Emergency Act, but they did it. I can respect that. Organised labour at its best, as they say. Then something happened in the local chapter elections. The Brothers Clare came and transformed it into a... how do you say?
A mob. The Débardeurs are a crime syndicate. Sad as it may be, I suspect we'll be forced to cooperate with them.
Refreshingly honest, officer. The company has tried appeasing in the past, but I'm afraid our concessions have only emboldened Everard and his brother. And your opinion, Detective, if I may ask? I'm a curious and talkative person, you see. Would you say the Débardeurs Union is...
Basically a socialist mob.
Thank you for being candid. Sadly, Wild Pines have cooperated with what amounts to a crime syndicate for 2 decades. However much you feed the wolf always hungers.
One more thing. You said something happened in the elections.
I'm glad you asked. There was a woman, the previous forewoman of the union. She disappeared.
Disappeared?
Yes. On the last day of the local chapter elections, her daughter phoned in and said she wasn't running anymore, or coming to work. Ever. End of story.
Eerie.
Downright haunting, if you ask me. The Wild Pines suspected foul play, but what could they do? It was a union matter. The point of the presentation is, these kinds of things happen around the Clares. Watch out when you're dealing with him.
Thank you for your concern, ma'am. We'll be just fine.
That's all I need here. Let's change the topic.
Of course. How else can I help?
What can you tell me about this lynching?
Quite a few things, I'm afraid. The information I'm to share with you includes sensitive trade secrets. For the sake of my employer, I have to ask for your names and badge numbers.
Of course, ma'am. We should have introduced ourselves. I am Lieutenant Kitsuragi from Precinct 57. And this is my colleague from Precinct 41. I'm afraid he doesn't have his badge at the moment. I hope mine will suffice.
How curious. Why is that, Detective?
Awkwardness washes over the conversation. The woman doesn't like this turn of events.
Remember when my partner told you I'd recently suffered from an unusual medical episode? My lost badge is related to it.
I see. So, are you saying you lost your badge during the course of this episode?
I could have eaten it for all I know. I don't remember anything. This world, this city, nothing.
Oh dear. I suppose this does explain some of the more curious turns in our conversation.
As I said, ma'am, his technique may be very unconventional, but he is an officer of the RCM.
Of course, I sympathize, but I'm afraid I simply can't share anything more until I've seen that badge.
Hang on. She's a professional negotiator. She should be open to some sort of mutually beneficial arrangement.
What kind of arrangement would that be?
I mean, favors for favors. A dirty alliance of some sort.
How do I negotiate my way out of this?
Easy. Just offer her a favor. Like I said, nice and dirty.
Surely there's some other way to demonstrate our law enforcement credentials.
I will be frank with you. If I'm going to break protocol, I need to be able to justify it to my superiors. They're going to want to see something very tangible.
You're in, but expect her to drive a hard bargain.
Like what?
Reports from inside Terminal B suggest it's a hub for the local drug trade. This is an open secret in Martinez. The Union controls the terminal, so it goes to reason.
They're profiting from this trade.
The company has tried looking into this matter before, to no avail. Perhaps someone with your authority and resources might turn over the right stones. Or you can recover your badge. Though if I may be blunt with you, it sounds like that may be a lost cause.
Detective, a word in private before we continue.
Excuse us for a moment, madam.
This is not going quite as I hoped it would, Detective.
How did you hope it would go?
Honestly, I was expecting you to use your unorthodox technique to keep her off balance and, not volunteer us to be her henchmen.
So we're henchmen now?
This woman is running circles around us. She might have known about your misplaced badge all along, or she's simply an adept improviser. Either way, we've played straight into her hands.
He doesn't let it show, but there is a limit to how much the consequences of your unprofessional behavior can cost the investigation.
What do you propose, that we don't investigate the drug trafficking?
No. If there is reasonable suspicion, we must investigate. Otherwise, she could claim we are siding with the Union, or that we are on their take. We'd never hear the end of it. What I propose is, we ask her, then we investigate, briefly. But do not share the outcome of this investigation with her. We tell her it's done and demand for her information on the lynching.
I am sorry for putting us in this situation. I'll handle it.
I'm sure you will, Detective.
Let's get back to her then.
You're back. Good. What can I help you with?
Okay, tell me about this alleged drug trafficking.
It's quite straightforward. Someone is using Terminal B to smuggle raw ingredients from the Samar and Isola into Revachol with the Union's blessing. Wild Pines has suspected it for years.
Ingredients for what, ma'am?
Meth and dextroamphetamine, GBL, and various synthetic psychedelics. Honestly, it might be quicker to say what you can't make from the stuff.
Let me get this straight. The materials come from Samara to Revachol through the terminal.
Yes. After they clear the terminal, we lose track. The actual production is taking place at various sites in and around Jamrock Quarter, north of here.
Wild Pine seems to be well apprised of the local drug trade, ma'am. Do you mean to say the Union also produces the product? Sells drugs, I mean?
We're in logistics. It's our business to know. And no. As far as the company knows, the Union does not produce it. They transport the ingredients for a cut.
And you want us to investigate?
Yes, but you won't get anything out of Evrat and the Dockworkers Union. Still, every chain has its weak link.
Am I gonna need bolt cutters for this?
Unlikely, officer. I'm talking about the lorries. Once the ingredients reach Jamrock, they're distributed to a network of local manufacturers, well beyond our grasp. But in transit, they may be vulnerable. Perhaps you've noticed that a number of lorries are tangled in a traffic jam at the roundabout just now. Interview the drivers who are still hanging about. One of them might be waiting for a crucial shipment. I'll be explicit. If you find this driver, I will share company secrets with you.
Why didn't you come to the RCM earlier?
We did. On more than one occasion. Apparently, there's some sort of inter-precinct disagreement about whose jurisdiction this area falls under.
We know the company has launched its own probe into the Union's alleged involvement. We also know it's come up empty. It's not just the RCM. No one's been able to find any hard evidence.
Well, here's your chance, officers.
It's no coincidence the lorries are stranded there like that, is it?
No. We asked East Motor Track to raise the drawbridge. The road company is a partner of one of our subsidiaries. However, this is a limited time opportunity. Once the complaint has been processed by the Trade Committee, they'll have no choice but to lower the drawbridge, and the operation will continue. Thousands of litres of raw ingredients will pour onto the streets of Revachol. Not the east across the river, but the west. The vulnerable, the weary.
Well, at least this solves one mystery.
What is that, Lieutenant?
Why I had to call East Motor Tract and beg them to open a drawbridge for me. I'd wandered since I first drove in, on my motor carriage.
I am sorry for the inconvenience, Lieutenant Kisaragi, but we need them trapped here. This is a unique opportunity. I'm sure you understand.
What proof do you have that the Union is involved?
How do you think they're financing this strike? There are thousands of unpaid dock workers going strong for the 4th month straight.
There was a shakedown of local businesses preceding the strike. Many were squeezed to bankruptcy to fund it.
With all due respect to these desert cacti, the contents of a few cash registers cannot provide for 2,000 men. The local businesses can scarcely provide for themselves.
So you think the strike is being funded with source ingredients for drugs?
Precisely. Smuggled out of that very gate at night, most likely, then loaded onto lorries and driven to Jamrock. You simply need to find one driver who will open up to you.
It sounds like she tried looking into it herself, but she's clearly not the type your typical lorryman would confide in.
We already have some suspicions that one of the drivers was present at the lynching.
The two might even be connected.
Or not. Though, if you have evidence to the contrary, I'm eager to hear it.
As eager as I am to share it, Lieutenant, once the job is done.
Okay, I've made up my mind about the smuggling investigation.
Yes?
We will take this case, probe the drivers, see what it yields.
Excellent. According to my reports, there are at least 3 lorry drivers lingering near the roundabout. Hopefully one of them will know something. It may come to nothing, or it may just blow the case wide open. I can keep the drawbridge up for a few more days at least. You should have the time you need. In the meantime, let me know if there's any other way I may be of assistance.
Do you know something about these tattoos?
That's the man who was killed. I'm afraid this is a discussion for once we've cleared the lynching question.
Fine, let's return to it later.
Better not tie the 4th day to the backstay on this. I hope there is something else I can help you with.
She wants to answer the question. Protocol keeps her from it.
You seem smart. I need someone to give me a lowdown on this reality we're in.
This reality?
It's related to that medical episode. I have trouble remembering even the most basic terms of reality.
Ah, yes, the episode. Sounds like an acute case of encephalopathy now that I think of it.
Don't be phased, madame. He functions perfectly well. He only needs a lowdown on all of reality.
We may be here a while then. Ask away, officer. I'll help however I can.
All right, we're in. I know these all look good, but begin with the first, okay?
Where are we?
We're in Martinez, baby.
Baby?
A casual term of endearment popular among the 50-plus crowd. It's a disco holdover, pay it no heed.
I'm a disco holdover myself.
Aren't we all?
And what is Martinez?
Martinez is a district of Revachol. A very small district tucked away near the industrial harbour, north of the 881 and Jamrock. You would be excused for not knowing about it. Unimportant, they say. Forgotten, even. Shelled to smithereens during the Revolution. It has its charms, just not this time of year.
Tell me more about Martinez.
I'm not a good ambassador. I've only been here once before, as a teenager. Not a lot has changed. There are ruins, a terminal, fishing boats, reeds, boys with boxy shoulders.
A brief spike of longing in her upright body. The dots under her eyelids shake.
This place used to be a province, a workers' resort before the city swallowed it and the artillery did its work. The reeds are the real star of the show here now. The further down the coast, the wilder it gets.
You were here as a teenager.
Yes, I was slumming it with some girlfriends of mine. We had boats and... Don't hold it against me. The boys certainly did not.
You mentioned a sea. What sea is this?
It's not really a sea, it's the Bay of Revachol. And the bay feeds into the ocean.
Are we near the ocean?
Yes. We're on an island in an ocean, the world's largest body of water, the Insulindic.
Known to the early Revacholians as Les Immensités Bleues, the Blue Immensities. Vast, lukewarm and unknowable, flowing in and out of sight.
What's the name of the island?
Caillou, as you already know. Imagine a pebble. A smoothed-over pebble amidst a great blue sea, misshapen, cracked. The cracks are the River Esperance. We're in the delta of this river, on the 6th branch, the Martinez distributary.
It is clear this pebble is of enormous value to her, and to humanity at large.
Okay, that's Martinez. What's Revachol?
Revachol? Revachol is what you call a city.
What kind of city is Revachol?
The great kind.
As if it's self-explanatory, beyond patriotism, a fact.
What makes Revachol great?
History, detective. They built this city to resolve history. Our part in it, at least. Our
Okay.
centuries.
Okay. Who built this city?
The nations of the Occident, or migrant workers from Seminine and Ile Marat, depending on your creed.
When was Revachol built?
In the DeLorean century. 380 years ago.
And why will it resolve history?
They say it's where the terrible questions of our time will be answered. The tensions are highest, the fault lines deepest. By that I mean conflicts. Ideological conflicts. The stuff of men.
Why here?
We are standing on a fertile, self-sufficient island able to sustain up to 200 million people in the middle of the Insulindic Ocean, the world's connective tissue. It's where the money is.
So we're in an unimportant part of an important place.
I think it's fair to say so. Martinez is about 22 kilometers from the center of the world. That soldering iron is the bank of the world building. The bottom floors are Insiacom. Coalition government, Insulindian Mission Command.
Silence. She lowers her hand. The water, the light. It's as though you're seeing it for the first time. There is no recognition, only the immensity of the sea and the cold radiating from it.
Where are we?
We are where we are. I have no truer answer to give, unfortunately.
Revachol Special Administration Region Lucayo. The Insulindian Ocean, Coalition Government, Insulindian Mission Command, name after name, and none of them is familiar. They seem real, but something is wrong. You feel like a kid looking at stickers on the fridge. Trouvant, the Apricot Company, World Games 34. You can almost see your hand reaching out for them. Scratch at the corners. See if they peel loose. This feels like the most important of all the thoughts. The one you truly must complete.
This is one thought you need to complete. Where are you?
Was there something else you wanted to know? I remember something about a lowdown.
This has been informative. Thank you, ma'am. I'm sure my memory-impaired partner has many more questions to ask, about even more fundamental aspects of reality. Might I suggest not asking them all right now? Ma'am, Messier will be here later too, and tomorrow. Isn't that true, ma'am?
Absolutely. My commitment here is long-term.
But won't I be lazy if I don't do it all now?
Oh, of course not. You are already diligent for getting this far, and diligent boys remember where they left off.
Indeed. I'm always at your service.
What is this acute encephalopathy?
It's a neurological disorder caused by a lack of vitamin B in the brain. Symptoms include a retrograde amnesia. It's quite serious. You should get yourself checked out.
She conveys it in short, cold bursts, trying not to invest too deeply in the condition of this doomed detective, in case he goes down later, souring the entire portfolio.
What causes encephalopathy?
Well, it's either bariatric surgery or long-term alcohol use.
It's definitely the drinking.
She nods slowly.
Yes, and perform autoerotic asphyxiation on yourself with your funny necktie, out in the open somewhere.
That's all for now.
Glad to have been of assistance. The little that I know. Anything else?
Thank you, that's all for now.
Of course, Detective. Take care.
This is a wall on the side of an apartment building.
Why am I looking
You
at
have
this
no clue.
wall?
It's just a wall. So many walls all over Martinez, weather-worn, cracked, their paint peeling.
Are you trying to sneak up on me? Come to slit my throat in my sleep? Pig's come to take me out, trying to snuff me out.
Are you sleeping right now?
Don't get fucking clever with me, pig. You think you're so clever.
You see a young man on a balcony nursing a cigarette. His eyes have been following you for a while.
Not looking for any trouble, officer.
Why are you whispering? It sounds like you're already in trouble.
There's no trouble. I'm just speaking in a lowered voice. I don't want to be seen talking to the gendarmerie if that's okay. I just want to finish my cigarette.
Don't let him go. This could be your witness. The balcony has a great view of the whole thing.
Actually, the gendarmerie really needs to talk to you.
Is it really that important? All right, but make it quick. Once I finish this cigarette, I have to run.
Looks like you've got a good view of the Whirling's backyard. Can you tell me about the hanging?
I can tell that you finally got him down. Thank you. It was quite a disturbing sight, even by Martinez standards.
What were you doing last Sunday?
Oh. You already asked me that, didn't you?
Did you?
No, not you two. Some more muscular type.
And when did you speak to this more muscular gentleman?
Last week? I don't know. Look.
It will take more than rain to bring this place back to life.
You didn't answer the question. What were you doing last Sunday?
I had a friend over.
What kind of friend?
It was my Sunday friend.
What's your friend's real name? Did he see something?
He doesn't reply, gesturing no with his cigarette. Under the dull and darkening sky, the neighboring windows stand silent.
Can you tell me your name?
My name? My name is Martin Martinez.
Martin Martinez? Good local name. Let's go with that.
I need to get inside this apartment building. Can you help me?
Help you? No, sorry, gendarme. I have to run.
All right, we'll talk later.
No. We won't. Now, if you'll excuse me, I really need to get going.
This isn't the place or time for questions. Who knows who might be watching from the distance, hidden behind the curtains?
Mate, listen. I am just trying to make things okay again. Can we meet again somewhere else?
For a moment, the man on the balcony seems almost vulnerable. Something moves in the depths of his feline eyes, compassion, and a hint of understanding.
I am sorry, but I really don't have the information you're looking for.
But, hold on, what's that? For a split second, his hand lingers, as though gesturing towards a stone placed right next to the front door. It's a sign.
Good luck with the investigation.
He's gone.
We should run after him, see where he went.
No point in running. Tenements like these often have multiple exits. If he doesn't want to talk to us, then he'll know how to hide himself.
So we just give up?
He could be a witness. Him or his Sunday friend. Either way, we need to look into that muscular type who's asking about our case. He did leave us a sign. Did you see that? He wanted to draw our attention to that stone right over there. If we find a way inside the building, we can ask around for his apartment.
Right, let's do that.
Actual art degree. Trite, contrived, mediocre, milquetoast, amateurish, infantile, cliché and gonorrhea-ridden peon to conformism. I fucked me. Affront to humanity. War crime. Should literally be tried for war crimes. Resolutely shit. Lacking in imagination. Uninformed reimagining of. Lip-wristed, premature, ill-informed attempt at. Talentless fuckfest. Recidivistic shit peddler. Pedantic, listless, savagely boring. Just one repulsive laugh after another.
I love actual art degree.
A stone like any other, lying in a whirl of sleet and mud. Maybe there's something under it.
Turn it over.
There's a key beneath it, rusty from the dirt.
This must be for the front door. Pity doesn't have the apartment number on it. This building has many apartments and the man can be in any of them.
How are we gonna find the right one?
We'll just have to go in and see.
Chairs and tables eaten by rain and rot. Ooh, an orange bum hat. An orange beanie with a couple of big ass holes in the side. It looks like it might have been used as a mask during an armed robbery. Just a closed door, but you look at it suspiciously. These barrels are half full of rainwater. This box is filled with cleaning chemicals, smells of laundry detergent. Flip up glasses, the auditor. These flip-up sunglasses were fashionable in the old, but have since lost their popularity. Their thin gold alloy wire frames are a reminder of drug-addled bohemian artists. These days, the glasses are only favoured by organised crime accountants who desire to look cool. Eviction notices and missing pets are plastered on top of each other. An old shoe rack, boots, sneakers and old slippers. These shoes come in 3 different sizes. Moss crawls on these bathroom tiles. Actual moss. These shower curtains are covered in some sort of slime. A large crimson bottle of cheap, sugary wine, made of poverty, sugar, artificial taste enhancers, and a vague memory of grapes, guaranteed to colour your lips. No, not yet. Not now.
A shabby door hangs oddly on its hinges, secured to the doorframe with a safety chain. An unpaid energy bill is attached, threatening to cut off the electricity. It's addressed to Mr. Uno Doroita.
Looks like we found where Kunno's dad lives.
And the place comes with 3 months' worth of utility bills.
No response. The apartment numbers have fallen off the door, leaving the panel with a sticky 1 shaped shadow and a marker drawn 2. You'll need to equip the chain cutters to enter. Snip right through the metal. A shabby door hangs oddly on its hinges, secured to the door. Snip. The cutter goes through them like dead leaves. The links fall to the ground on the other side of the door.
I know there's no stopping you, but let's at least make this quick.
A phone book lies open on the table, covering a stack of utility bills. Right next to it, in plain sight, sits a small bottle of amphetamine, conveniently equipped with a straw.
Lieutenant, I've located psychoactive substances on this table.
Good. Confiscate it.
The minuscule amount of amphetamine doesn't interest the lieutenant in the slightest. He listens instead to something in the other room. You pocket the bottle as if it were the most natural thing in the world.
Glossy erotica covers the walls, wrinkled from moisture. The air stinks with something sour. Regular black jeans. I'm gonna steal his jeans.
A bundle of clothes heaped on the bed. A stained parka, some towels and a duvet, some socks even. In the dark, it looks like a nest.
Hold up, Lieutenant. Look at that pile of clothes.
Something underneath there is breathing. It's not too late. No one's going to blame you for backing out. You don't have to do this. Just get out. Your hand touches a greasy duvet covered in cigarette burns and ketchup stains. You hear a growl. There is something alive underneath it.
Pull the blanket off.
You see a 60-year-old, fat, red-headed man passed out from large amounts of alcohol, and God knows what else. The smell of shit rises from his mouth. You don't have to take him down. He's already down.
Is this thing even alive?
I'm afraid it is. Look, it moves.
And look, the other foot is camouflaged by a striped sock bearing the name Maxtor on the sole. 3 toes are poking out of a hole. Maxtor is a gas company. He's wearing free socks from a gas company. They probably came with the bills. A groan rises from the man's throat, dry like a death rattle. He's trying to say something in his sleep. The man groans once again, but his tongue keeps failing him. It's impossible to make out the syllables. A hand emerges from the blankets, trying to gesticulate something. And then it dawns upon you, clear and surreal. Pigs, he says. He's trying to call you pigs.
You're awake. He's awake.
His hand falls back on the bed, limp and defeated. A loud snore escapes his mouth. He's asleep again.
At least he got to say his piece.
Is this Kunno's father we're seeing?
Well, judging by the color of his hair, I would say yes, it is.
The lieutenant's right. The man's unwashed hair bears a familiar ginger tone. Even the hair on his chest is coppery. The light from the window falls into his half-open eyes.
Doesn't look like he's gonna fuck anyone up anytime soon.
No, it really doesn't. This looks very hard to recover from. This man won't be feeding his family anytime soon. Not that he was, but at least he won't be beating his son.
A pair of half-open bug eyes is staring back at you from the dark, empty, and frozen. It's clear that the person behind them is not awake.
This is serious damage. I'm still not sure he's not dead.
Look, he's trying to communicate.
Maybe we should help him somehow.
What is there to do? We could turn him on his side so he doesn't choke on his own vomit, but he's already on his side.
Excellent form.
We could take him to Remedy or Saint-Baptiste, but he doesn't have money for medical services. The almshouse would turn him down. They don't do charity for people who are trying to kill themselves. Besides, he'll be dead in a few.
The pile of blankets grunts miserably.
I took your amphetamine, old man.
Silence. Only heat emanates from the sleeping body.
And on that, I think we're probably going to leave it for today. How convenient. Someone's equipped this tiny bottle of amphetamines with a straw. It's the lorry man's speed on the go. Thank God for black jeans. Everyone looks good in black jeans. Combine it with your favourite book t-shirt and a yellow plastic bag to channel that laid-back trash bin raccoon meets cool professor vibe. Or do whatever you want. It's just a pair of black jeans after all. +1 composure. A normal day for a normal guy. I might actually swap because, yeah. Regular black jeans. Okay. It is slow progress. Working, reading out everything and going through, but I'm really enjoying it. So I think I'm happy to spend the time. Red Dead Zombie, random. So we've got a few Kofi's come in, which I'm going to read out before we finish. So, Alia Baxter. The mechanisms have now evolved into writing and just everyday background music, but I did figure out a routine setup that works for my ADHD autistic brain. The key is dopamine tasks, and the only visible tasks, and it is. The key is dopamine tasks are the only visible tasks, and it is perfectly modular. Anyway, good weekend. Good weekend to you as well. And that sounds good. Like, it's always weird trying to find the exact, like, way to do, like, workflow and routine with, like, I mean, everyone's got different brain setups for that sort of thing, and I'll be honest, I still struggle to find mine sometimes. But I'm really glad you're finding one that's working for you. Kofi from Akuma. Hi again, the Globe Theatre is on my list. Honestly, my favourite moments have been wandering around the city on my lonesome. I'll pick a random place featured in Magnus and head that way. I end up going to a lot of cool places. I once ended up inside the Millbank prison tunnels. Oh, cool. Is that the one that... I forget the name of the pub, but there's a specific pub that has like access to and like lets people into some of the Millbank prison tunnels. But yeah, honestly, wandering around a city on your own is one of the best ways to experience it, in my opinion. Go from Red Dead Zombie. Night. Looking forward to the RQ Control stream. I loved the Magnus Protocol episode 20, and I wondered if the feelings on parasocial relationships were somewhat autobiographical. It was very well written and topical. I asked Alex on Tumblr. He said that case was all you. I mean, yes and no. Like, to a certain degree, everything that you write is to some degree autobiographical. Like, a lot of, like, the stuff that you draw from is stuff from your own life, and there is certainly a lot of my sort of feelings and, like, how I have, like, there's a lot of my experiences with finding, weird niche online fame in there. I wouldn't say it's autobiographical because the reactions and the sort of the extrapolations of that are based in the character having those experiences rather than myself. This is, I suppose it's maybe me conceptualizing a different route or a way, or like a different way of interacting with it. If I were to have leaned into some of the, like, more caustic aspects of that, rather than, like, to be frank, backing away from it quite a bit. So I don't think... I think I would stop short of calling it autobiographical, but like, a lot of it is definitely rooted in my own experiences of, having achieved weird niche internet fame. And random Q. Does Johnny have a third book coming out? I swear I heard about it, but can't find pre-orders online. It's coming. It's coming. It's getting written. It's getting written any day now. Any day now. It is coming. It is called Burnout. It's about the London Underground, and sort of it's about a lot of things. It's kind of my breakup letter to London in some ways, but it's taken a while though. I don't know. Third book, it's a bit more like pulling teeth than the others, just like getting the physical thing written, but it is coming. And Ath says, back in March, you and Chat helped Dalinatelli name a tap dance they choreographed. Now they have a video of it. Capitalism, a key performance move. A key performance. That's brilliant. I'm not going to watch it on stream with sound because it has copyrighted music, and we're also already a little way over time. Oh, Akuma in chat. The Millbank prison tunnels. Yeah, the Morpeth Arms. That was the name. I was like, I knew it was Arms, but my brain kept going back to Bullingdon Arms because someone was talking about it earlier. And Finn's streaming Elden Ring to fundraise for Palestine and would like a raid. Wonderful. Then Finn will definitely have a raid to fundraise for Palestine. Brilliant. I did a quick save, but I'm going to do a proper save. can't actually give it a name. I really want to give it a name that's like the game, the stream, but it's fine. I'll remember. Okay. Right. Oh, sorry for that. There we are. Right. Thank you all very much for joining me for this most disco of Elysiums. Should be Touchwood should be MacGuffin stream as normal on Sunday, and then on Monday Sash will be continuing on with Mansfield Park as things get even worse for Fanny. I have no idea what part of the book they're in, but I don't know. From what I know of Mansfield Park, I'm pretty confident making the guess that things are about to get even worse for Fanny. So, right. Oh, what is the raid phrase for Finn? Or something from Art Cop. I love Art Cop. Okay, stay masculine. Well, no, I feel stay masculine. I don't know. I like to consider myself good friends with Finn, but I don't know if I consider myself good enough friends to send a raid party with the raid phrase "stay masculine" to her. So I'm gonna veto that one. Oh yes, what's a board ... game? That is what it is going to be. What's a board ... game? Finn the Finn. Okay, well, thank you all very much for joining me, and until the next time, as we say at the end of every stream, stay masculine. Bye-bye!